Welcome. Thank you for attending Resource Innovation Institute's first workshop of a 4-part series on indoor agriculture energy savings deep dives, organized by UMass Amherst as part of the Massachusetts Energy Efficiency Partnership. Thank you to National Grid and Eversource for helping us bring this workshop series here to you today. Today's session focuses on retrofits, and I'm very glad to be speaking with you today from Huntington, Vermont. At any point, type in the chat window so I can offer our panelists your questions throughout when appropriate, or they'll be saved till the end for the Q&A. My name is Gretchen Schimelpfenig. I'm the Technical Director of Resource Innovation Institute, RII. Derek Smith is our Executive Director and founded RII in 2016. I am an engineer and an energy efficiency expert, and my mission is to mitigate climate change at an industrial level. Our agenda today is an hour. We can stick around at the end if Q&A goes past 2 p.m. After I give a quick introduction and go over the purpose and learning objectives of this workshop, our panel will discuss several topics with me to establish your understanding about how facilities produce cannabis, the energy sources they use, their HVAC and lighting loads, the amount of energy they use, their peak electric demand, and associated energy costs. Then, in the latter half of the workshop, we'll dive into retrofit examples and best practices for working with cultivators to design efficient and productive operations within the Massachusetts energy regulations. RII is a nonprofit whose mission is to advance resource efficiency in cannabis and hemp cultivation, and in doing so, we are creating a blueprint for efficient market transformation in controlled environment agriculture. We are excited to soon extend our services to the broader CEA marketplace. We study the issues of energy, water, waste, and carbon emissions. We are an objective, data-driven nonprofit, and we fulfill our mission by convening stakeholders to measure, inform, and validate. We establish baselines with PowerScore, our resource benchmarking platform, to guide our collective understanding of conventional and high-performance cultivation approaches. We facilitate and disseminate best practices like what we are doing with MAEEP and this workshop series. We advise governments and utilities on policies and programs. We establish holistic resource standards and align with relevant standards organizations. And finally, through connecting the dots among all these issues, we are validating the technologies and techniques that are driving the best efficiency and productivity. Here's a partial list of our member governments, utilities, standards organizations, cultivators, and supply chain partners. Many of those partners engage in our Technical Advisory Council to ensure our guidance is vetted across multiple disciplines, is brand agnostic, and is peer reviewed. Our Technical Advisory Council organizes into working groups on a number of subjects. We invite those of you who are not involved to join as a member and contribute to these efforts. In early 2020, we launched a utility working group, a water working group, and our first state-specific working group in Massachusetts. This fall, we launched our data, policy, and controls working groups. And early next year, we will create a group focused on facility design and construction, and we'll also convene a working group on carbon emissions. With our working groups and research partners, we produce research reports like the 2018 Cannabis Energy Report and the 2020 Cannabis Water Report, and best practices guides to inform the marketplace and help controlled environment agriculture operations become more efficient and more productive. In 2019, we published our first best practices guides for cannabis cultivators and their supply chain partners on LED lighting and efficient HVAC and dehumidification systems for productive and resource efficient operations. Members of our HVAC and lighting working groups contributed to the content, and dozens of peer reviewers ensured that we offer the market insightful and compelling educational resources. In September, we released our new Massachusetts best practice guide for cannabis cultivators navigating the state's energy regulations. The guide will be used by Massachusetts Department of Energy Resources and the MassSafe program administrators to encourage operators to complete efficiency projects. Get digital copies of the guides by visiting our resources page. In December of this year, in collaboration with the Utility Working Group, we will be releasing a Utility Program Engagement and Program Design and Market Engagement Primer, a first-of-its-kind resource for utilities and efficiency program administrators considering creating programs for cannabis cultivator customers. In 2021, we will also be creating and vetting third-party services for marketing, project planning, and measurement and verification with PowerScore. For years, we've been providing educational curriculum via Efficient Yields, and in 2020 produced 2 other best practices projects, but for cultivator audiences, one funded by the Massachusetts Department of Energy Resources and MassSave, and the other collaboratively funded by Michigan's Consumers Energy and Lansing Board of Water and Light. Our Technical Advisory Council helped create our Cannabis PowerScore benchmarking platform, which provides cultivators with a free and confidential ranking of resource use based on both area-based and production-based KPIs. The ranked data set of validated and aggregated PowerScore records is used to inform governments, utilities, and the supply chain on how to support cultivators in achieving greater efficiency. When a PowerScore record is created for a facility, a performance benchmark is produced and shows the facility's calculated key performance indicators and overall facility ranking to peer operations based on a year of resource consumption and cannabis production. PowerScore has a dashboard with competitive reports that analyze portfolios of facilities and their KPIs against those in the ranked data set. Performance benchmarks can be used to establish pre-project baselines and verify post-project energy performance. The chart on this slide summarizes the electric facility efficiency KPI in electric kBTU per square foot of a portfolio of facilities, orange, compared to the ranked data set in green. MassSave engineers and supply chain partners working with cultivators can use PowerScore to validate energy savings of efficiency projects in cultivation facilities. So now that you're familiar with RII and what we do, I will share with you why are we gathered here today. We hope you leave with an understanding of typical building system loads for cannabis cultivation operations, energy use and demand of facilities cultivating cannabis, the challenges producers face with retrofitting buildings to provide sufficient environments for plants, how to design and optimize operations for efficiency, cost-effective opportunities for technology retrofits, and options for saving methodologies for efficiency projects. If you are attending this workshop and are a part of MassSave and are not a part of MassSave and are an architect, engineer, manufacturer, or construction professional working with cannabis cultivators, contact MassSave program administrators to collaborate on projects to help the project buy down efficiency equipment and receive additional technical assistance. I'm now going to welcome Dario Boyce and Doug Oppedal, our panelists for today. Dario is a project manager at Anderson Porter Design in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and has been with the firm for 4 years. He has a unique view of the design process and enjoys problem solving and critical thinking, which he applies to the design phases of architecture. Dario will share with us several relevant examples of design and retrofit projects in Massachusetts. Doug Oppedal is a program manager at Evergreen Consulting Group in Portland, Oregon. He's an expert in controlled environment agriculture technologies and applications. Doug has worked more than 27 years in the electrical and lighting field and was a lighting specialist for a large utility in Portland, Oregon, as well as lighting controls manager for a manufacturer representative and a lighting designer on commercial projects. Doug will share with us his experience serving utility programs throughout the Pacific Northwest since the start of the cannabis industry in Oregon and how programs can evolve to incentivize high-performance LED lighting fixtures with advanced lighting controls to achieve energy savings from lighting in a place like Massachusetts, where energy regulations reduce savings claims for traditional LED retrofits. So let's get started.